I always find these films very powerful, lots of good information. I want to remind everybody that if you have a comment or a question to share, to be sure and use the microphone so that community media gets it recorded for those that are watching later. Also, please take an evaluation and complete it. It's helpful feedback for us at the back of the room when you get a moment. So with that, let's open up the discussion. I did have a couple of things I wanted to get you just to think about for a second. Think about steps you've taken in your own life toward a healthier lifestyle. What are you doing or can you do in your workplace to support a healthy lifestyle? Also, it has been said that awareness is the first step toward recovery. Consider paying attention to the little things in our lives that are working against a healthier life. Sometimes looking for the things that aren't working and eliminating those one at a time can make a big difference. Things like donuts and treats at work too often, substituting, something healthy once in a while, or offering both sometimes. Sugary beverages every day, fast food, inactivity. Consider things such as taking small steps today, striving for improvement, not perfection. So, also thinking about, the film's perception about obesity and that it's not just about personal behavior. It's really interesting to see how much of it is inherent in our culture. So with that, please share if you could make a small change, and what would that be in your home, your personal life, your work life, or even just reflections and comments about the film. Did you have anything that you wanted to say before we start the question and answer session?
Maybe just quickly, this was probably my favorite of the series, this fourth one, in part because it really gets into the systemic nature of the issue, and I think the others focus in on particular aspects. And because it is a systemic issue, I think that it could be a little overwhelming, and you can be left with the feeling that we're sort of in a situation where we can't ever make improvement. But I don't think anything could be further from the truth. I think that Jill said it nicely, that you can take an action as an individual, you can take an action as an organization, you can take action as a community activist, and you can begin to change your personal behavior. You can change the atmosphere in your organization, in your workplace, in your home. But you can also begin to change the environment in which other people live in, to make, as the mayor of Nashville said, the easy choice can become the healthy choice, or the healthy choice could become the easy choice. And in many communities, including Sonoma County, that's not the case now. So I'll just leave it with that, and I'm happy to answer questions when they come.
Comments, questions? Anybody want to share?
So, Peter, in Santa Rosa or Sonoma County, is there a big disparity? I have the impression that maybe the lower income areas don't have the same access to fruits and vegetables that we do. The farmers markets are in more upscale areas generally. And is my impression correct?
Yes, yes. So the Google map that Dr. Tony Eitan was showing at the beginning, and focusing in on a couple areas, Cleveland and some other areas. If you overlay poverty in Sonoma County with life expectancy, there's not a direct correlation, but it's certainly true that lower income communities in Sonoma County, people just don't live as long. And so you can go back to that comment about systemic issues, and it's not necessarily because a farmer's market is there or not, but certainly there's a decrease in access to healthy food. in those communities. There's poorer infrastructure, and so it's harder for kids to walk to school, to ride their bike to school. There's a feeling of safety that parents may have to allow that in the first place as well. And that's not to say that those communities don't have tremendous assets, but it is more difficult for somebody to live in in those environments and be healthy.
And I guess, is the county, maybe Health Action, doing stuff to make this better?
So thank you very much yes, we are trying mightily through various aspects of that system. We have somebody working on some of that in our audience now. So we have Safe Routes to School, which is a great program that helps make it easier for kids to be active and walking to school, coming home, and be active at school. We have a lot of work going on right now in our food systems, and if you think back to this conversation about it's all about agribusiness and corn being our biggest product and very difficult for a small farmer to grow anything else and to keep it local. That's true here too, and we're trying to do something about it. We're trying to establish a food aggregation hub so local producers don't have to send their food to Alameda, right, and to have it turn around and be sold here as local produce. It's just simply, it's crazy to do that. And so we're working with our community partners to do that, working with our partners in farmers markets to make it easier for somebody with CalFresh, with food stamps, to buy produce at the farmers market. We're working with community supported agriculture, CSAs, local food producers, to accept CalFresh. And so that can be delivered to somebody's home or a place nearby. So the availability of a farmer's market isn't an issue anymore if that's an option. So and we can go on and on truly about the things that we're trying to do, both through Health Action as well as through other programs and efforts through the health department, through the water agency, through many other departments, human services. We all have a stake in it.
Okay, I have one last thing. It's kind of an interesting vignette. My husband was working for a former Coke executive, and they were sitting around. My husband's in construction, so they were sitting around his new house being built and talking. And the Coke executive said, in the 70s, we used to sit around in the break room saying, ha, 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 if we could only sell the same product without the coloring and without the sugar, we could really have a profit. And if you saw, Coke has a 90% profit already. And they were, just joking about how to up their profit. And then the 80s and 90s came along and people started selling water. And that was their dream come true. So they got into that business. And since that time, there's still a big water market, but it's turning into flavored and sugared waters. And so it's kind of, the tide has turned back. It's a just interesting little story.
Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else have any comments, questions, suggestions, questions for Peter? How about reflections about the film? Many of you that are here today have come to all of them. Are there things that you were surprised about? Things you didn't know? Anybody have anything they want to share?
I would like to know if there's actually any low-income area that is not being supplied with nutritional food. I get the newsletter from the Redwood Empire Food Bank, and they seem to be all over. They go to low-income apartment places, they go to the schools, they feed the children during the summertime when they don't have the lunches. So is there any particular area that is not getting any of the nutritional foods?
So, you're entering another very large topic, even outside of obesity, and we're getting into hunger at this point. And I'd say that while the food bank does amazing work, they can't meet the total need in Sonoma County, nor can any other nonprofit in collaboration with the food bank meet the entire need.
The bank is building a new establishment in order to help facilitate that?
They're building a new establishment because the need is much greater than they could ever meet in the old. And I think as we see population grow, it's going to get even worse. And this, we get back. I hate to harp on it, but we get back to this idea that it's all a system. And if we focus in on, well, it's just, if we could just get the food bank scaled up large enough, we're going to solve the problem. And it's not that. Dr. Eiten, I mentioned his name before, and he's really sort of a hero for me in how he frames issues and how he presents this topic in particular. We need to ask ourselves, is this the system that we would build if we started from scratch? Is this the community that we would build if we started from scratch? And in many cases it is. We have tremendous assets, as I said before, but we fall short on so many critical areas. And if we say it's acceptable to have any one community, any one family deal with hunger, or if we say it's acceptable for any one community or any one neighborhood not to have a park, not to have sidewalks, because we're going to focus on something else or another neighborhood, I think we're doing a serious disservice and an injustice to our community in total. So, off my soapbox and just say that I think we need to look at everything collectively if we're going to address any one of these issues, hunger or obesity.
Do you have any words of wisdom you want to leave us with today? Suggestions that people can do as individuals to step toward a healthier future?
I think the same as I've left with each of the three previous is find an action and take it. If it's your personal behavior, do it. If it's in your workplace, do it. If it's in your community, do it. No one action is too small. No one action is too big. We all need to do our part and whatever we can.
Thank you, Peter, and thank you everyone else for being here today.